Hi, and welcome to teacher training for substitute teachers in your classroom. We all know that students need stability and continuity in the classroom. When you are absent, how can you be sure that things are going to be handled as if you were handling them? School teachers can prepare for a substitute teacher by giving them the material and information needed to be successful in their classroom. And there are three things that are necessary to ensure that you have a well-prepared substitute. You must first have safety information provided, classroom-specific information, as well as school-specific information. We're going to look at all three of these. And as we look at these, you're going to notice that I'm referencing the substitute teacher folder. It's very important that you compile all of the information for a substitute in a central location and that this remains on your desk in case you're out so that the substitute can just quickly access it and know where it is and know it's for them. So make sure that you organize all of your information in this one central location for them. The first thing we're going to look at is safety information. Now, they will need a copy of the evacuation plan. These plans are usually posted at the exits in the classroom, but it's a good idea to make a copy of that and include it in the substitute teacher folder so they can actually carry that with them if they need to. The second thing that they need as far as safety goes would be the location of this emergency response book. All teachers, or all substitute teachers as well, in Mitchell County are required to attend emergency response training, so they are very familiar with this book already. But sometimes substitutes don't know where that book is in the classroom. Make sure that it's indicated within the substitute teacher folder the location of this book so that they can quickly access it if they need to. And then the third thing, as far as safety goes, would be the school nurse's number. We have several nurses that are shared between schools in Mitchell County, so they're not always on site. So it's very important that substitute teachers have access to that school nurse and can get a hold of them quickly in case an emergency arises. Now moving on, classroom-specific information is definitely necessary to ensure that you have a well-prepared substitute. The first thing that they are going to need is classroom rosters. This would just be a simple alphabetical list of all your students so that they can take attendance and of course refer back to that list if they need to look up a name or anything like that. The second thing they would need would be a seating chart for your classroom. Now, students tend to like to take advantage of substitutes, we all know, and they like to move around and sit with their friends when a substitute teacher is in the classroom. So it's really a good idea to form a seating chart and have that in your substitute teacher folder. This is just a simple one that I drew up that can give you an idea of how to write these out. Just make sure you include the block number, the desks as they are arranged, and who sits at each desk so we can make sure that everybody's in the right spot for each block. The next thing that a substitute teacher would need would be the class schedule. This would be the school schedule throughout the day. Beginning at 8 o'clock, the bell rings. They go to PE at this time. We have lunch at this time, that type of thing, so that the substitute knows exactly what their day is supposed to look like. The next thing would be lesson plans. Now, there are two scenarios here. One would be that you had a planned absence. You knew you were going to be out on Friday, and so you had a chance to sit down and write out your lesson plans for that day. This would be wonderful for the substitute. Just make sure they are clear and concise and that you include all teacher resources and any answer keys that might go along with the work for the day. Now the second scenario would be if it was an unplanned absence. Let's say you got sick or your child got sick and you had to call in that morning and are not going to be able to be at school that day, and so a substitute is called in. In this case, it's very important in your substitute teacher folder that you include emergency lesson plans. These lesson plans might be something like worksheets that would keep them busy. It might be a DVD that the substitute teacher can show that is relevant to the material that you are studying. It might be project work, just anything like that that would keep the students busy and would give the substitute a guideline on what to administer to the class. The next thing that the substitute would need would be student allergies and medication information. If any students have allergies, it's very important that the substitute know that. If any students have to administer medicines throughout the day, it's very important that the substitute knows that. And also whether or not those are student administered or nurse administered and what time of the day those are supposed to be given. The next really good idea for classroom teachers is to provide the substitute with an appointed classroom helper. This would just be a student that you trust that you feel will give truthful answers to the substitute and that the substitute can go to in case they have any questions throughout the day. Also, anything that's just specific to your classroom. How do you handle bathroom breaks? What is your discipline policy? Anything like that that you feel like the substitute needs to know just to ensure that continuity throughout the day. The third section we're going to look at is school information. This would just be specific information related to your school. Phone numbers of all of the staff, including administrative staff, is very important for the substitute. Just make sure it's in that folder. The name of the closest teacher or a neighboring teacher would be wonderful in case the substitute has questions that they need to ask an adult. The location of the restrooms and the teacher's lounge is also important. We have substitutes that sub at many different schools, and so they may not be familiar with the school that they are subbing at that day. So make sure you provide that information to them. So we can see, as a public school teacher, there are going to be times that you encounter that you require a substitute. But if you prepare accordingly by providing adequate information on safety, on classroom procedures, and on school information, then you can be assured that your substitutes will be well equipped to handle your classroom successfully. Thank you.